Hello, second graders. I hope you guys are having a wonderful Wednesday so far. Today we have reading, we have writing, and we have math. For reading today, it's kind of the same reading and writing activities from the last few days, where you will be reading a story right here on Raz Kids, or a fiction story of your choice. Remember, it has to be fiction, otherwise the writing activity will be difficult. So you can either read Tommy Goes to a Yard Sale or another fiction story of your choice. Make sure you're paying attention while you're reading to the characters, the setting, some big events, the problem, and the solution. So go ahead and get started on reading that fiction book, and as soon as you're done, come on back and meet me for writing. All right, second graders, hopefully you just finished your fiction story, and it's now time to retell that story using the 5-finger retell strategy. I'm going to make this nice and big. If whenever I'm finished kind of explaining the activity, you want to take the video back a little bit and pause it here, you can use it to help you. Okay, so for the 5-finger retell strategy, basically what I want you to do right now is hold up a fist. Okay, closed fist. And then I want you to hold up your thumb. Okay, just your thumb is out because right now you're just thinking through who are the characters in your story. Not just all the characters, but really the important ones. So think about that for about 10 seconds and say them out loud. Nice job, second graders. I bet you listed a few characters that are important to your story. And now I want you to add your pointer finger. Okay, kind of like you're holding up a bit of an L. So for your pointer finger, you are going to think through the setting or settings in your story. Where does most of your story take place? And if your story has this, think about like if it happens mostly in the morning, the afternoon, the evening, kind of what time it's happening. Just think about that for about 10 seconds and say that out loud. Nice job. And now add your middle finger. You're holding up 3 fingers right now. And you are thinking through what is the problem in your story. What does the main character have to kind of encounter or run into that doesn't go quite right? Think about that for about 10 seconds and say it out loud. Nicely done. Hopefully you thought through that problem. Now add your ring finger and kind of think through some events. So the problem happened. What else kind of happened though? What are a few more details? Think about that for about 10 seconds and say like 1 or 2 extra events. And nicely done. And now it is the ending, your pinky finger. What happens at the end? It's like the solution or maybe the lesson learned. So think about that and say that out loud. Nicely done. So now what you're going to do is you're going to do that again. Hopefully it's a little bit faster this time. And then when you're finished doing it again, you're going to get out your notebook or a piece of paper and you are going to write it down. Write down your 5-finger retell. Remember to write in complete sentences and don't forget to use capitalization and punctuation. And then, so I'm going to let you hit pause, go to slide 4 and get started on that, and I'll meet you back here for math. Hello, second grade mathematicians, welcome back. Today we're doing even more with line plots. So hopefully you did yesterday's line plot activity. You're going to watch this video over how to create a line plot. And then you are going to go and you're going to go collect 10 of the same types of objects. And you'll need a ruler to measure them, or a tape measure, whatever it is that you have. So you could get 10 stuffed animals, maybe 10 picture frames, 10 shoes, or 10 books. Go ahead and go collect those things. Sorry, second graders, I live right by the fire station, which is cool, but it's definitely loud. So go ahead and press pause on the video, go collect those things, and bring them back to your computer with a ruler to measure them. All right, welcome back. Hopefully you have your 10 items. What I want you to do now is on a piece of notebook paper, a piece of paper, is list those items kind of like in a column, so like one under the other. Don't write them next to each other like you're writing a book. Stack them. So like if I had a book, I would maybe write, let's think, the book with no pictures. And then I'd come down and I'd write Wilfred. And then I'd come down and I'd write any book. So just kind of list the book up and down or whatever your objects are. If you have shoes, think of how you can kind of describe them. Maybe one is more white. Maybe you can write the brand, like if it's Nike, if it's a tennis shoe or a sandal. Find some way to list your objects. So go ahead and press pause and do that next. Nicely done. Hopefully you have your 10 objects listed. And now it is time to measure them. Okay, it is time to measure your objects. So get that ruler out and measure. So look at your first item. If mine was the book with no pictures, I would have to decide if I wanted to measure how tall it is or how long it is. So pick some way to measure your object and measure it the same way for every other object. So if I were to measure my book up and down, and then I got to the next book and I was measuring it side to side, that wouldn't be very helpful. I have to measure the same part of every book for me if I'm doing books. And same is true for you depending on what your object is. So go ahead and measure it and write down your measurement next to each item and meet me back here to know what to do next. All right, second graders, welcome back again. I know it's a lot of back and forth today, but there's a lot of steps and I want to make sure you understand what to do. So the next thing you are going to do is you are going to get your notebook paper that you're working on with all your measurements, and maybe underneath it you're going to draw a line. Let's see if I can do this. Yep, you're going to draw a line sideways. And you are going to think, where do I want my first measurement to start? You don't have to start at 0. If your like shortest object is 10 inches or something like that, you do not need to start at 0 and count up to 10. I would start at 10 because that's your shortest object. And I think, well, what's my longest object? And I would count up to that. So let's say my shortest book is 10 inches long and my longest one is like 20, which is way too big a book. Not likely, but it could happen. So I would make sure my first point's 10, my last point's 20, and I go 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and I'm making the lines with the numbers 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. You might not need your whole line. If you don't, you can erase the extras. And then you are going to use the data to collect your line plot. So let's say I'm looking at my data and I see there are 3 13s. Wherever my 13 is, I'm going to put 1, 2, 3 dots on my line plot. And that's kind of the gist of it. So go ahead and create your own. I can't wait to see what you do today. If you are doing the Envision page, you're going to be doing a similar activity on the independent practice. For the guided practice, it's kind of what we were doing yesterday. You're actually going to be counting how many of each number. So you'll see here how many 4s are there. I'm scanning across. I don't see any. Oh, there's 1. Oh, there's 2. And I'm going to keep going, checking all of them, being very careful. 3. Okay, there's 3 4s. So see, there's 1, 2, 3 dots. And then for 5, I'm going to do the same thing, scanning across. There's a 5, 1. Don't see another one here. No. And 2. There's only 2 5s, so I'm going to do 2 dots. And then you do that for all of these numbers. And then for what was the most common feather length, so that means like which had the most, it kind of tells you already, but you're going to find the same. Once you get working, you'll see there's a lot of 6s. That one has the most common. And why does the number line use the numbers 4 through 9? Why didn't I just do 0 through 20? Tell me why we do that. Then for the independent practice, we are going to be measuring the length of your pencil, is what we would be doing in the classroom. Really, you can just pick 10 objects like the students did in this activity. Because we don't have a class collection of data for this, so you don't have other classmates you can go get pencils from. I don't think I even have 10 pencils in my apartment. So if you don't have 10 pencils, pick 10 of some other object and begin. And the same thing after you're finished, you're going to be analyzing or looking at your line plot to answer the questions. Do the vocabulary and continue on to problem solving. Whenever you're finished, you are going to do the game first to 20 with someone if someone's around, or you can get on Math Playground. So that's it for day 33. Thanks for listening, guys. I know it was a lot of back and forth, but you guys, I know, are going to do amazing. Keep up the incredible work. I'm so proud of you. I miss you, and I hope you have a wonderful Wednesday.